Welcome everyone to today's lesson. Today we're going to be dealing with arithmetic sequences. First of all, what is arithmetic sequence? An arithmetic sequence is a sequence of numbers that is characterized by a common difference. For example, let's take a sequence of odd numbers. Our odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and they continue. When you look at this sequence of odd numbers, you can see that there is an actual common difference, and this is what makes it an arithmetic sequence. By just looking at it, we can see that our common difference here is 2, right? Because from 1 to 3, we just added 2. From 3 to 5, we added 2. From 5 to 7, we added 2. From 7 to 9, we also added 2, right? Even if you can look at even numbers, you will see our even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. When you look at that sequence, also has a common difference. So now, with arithmetic sequence, there is what we call the general formula, right? Or like to say the general term. So the general term or the general formula is Tn equals to A plus n minus 1 all multiplied by D. This is a very, 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 very important formula that you need to always remember, right? To those who are not familiar with it, they might ask themselves, what is Tn, what is A, what is n, what is D, right? Because all of these are just variables. So now, starting off with Tn, right? What is our Tn? Our Tn, we call it, or rather we say, is the value of the term, right? And I'm going to change my color so you can see. Or sometimes in a question paper, maybe they're not going to say what is the value of this term. They might say, what is the nth term of the sequence, right? So either way, however they phrase it, they all mean Tn. The second one, we're going to look at the A, right? What is our A? Our A is the first term of the sequence, right? When we look at this sequence above, the sequence of odd numbers starting from 1, we can see the first term is this, right? So meaning A is the first term, or you can also write it as T1. So now, we're going to go to N. What is N, right? N is what? The number of the term, right? N is the number of the term, or in short, you can say the term number, right? Last but not least is D. What is D? Yes, you guessed it. It is the common difference, right? Like we said from this example, we can clearly see that our common difference was 2. So this general formula helps us to get what different things, right? Helps us to answer questions they would ask us normally. So now let's take a look at another example. Supposedly now we have an example, right? And in this example, they've given us a sequence 4, 7, 10, and 13, right? One of the very most, or rather first questions they might ask you is something like, what is the common difference, right? or they can just say what is the difference. So guys, remember our difference from our general formula is Tn equals to A plus n minus 1 all multiplied by D. Our common difference, or our D, it is always Tn plus 1 minus Tn, right? And in our example, we can see our Tn plus 1, meaning from here we can say T2 minus T1, which is equals to our T2 is 7 minus our T1 is 4. Therefore, our difference would be a 3. Guys, if you didn't understand, please pause the video and rewind. So what would the next question look like? They might ask us for question B, they might say, what is the general term? If they're asking you for the general term, remember they are really asking you for the general formula. How would the formula for this sequence look like? And for that, remember, we need our A. We need to know what the A is and what is the D, what the D is, right? From the previous question, we have already calculated the D. Do we know what the A is? Yes, remember guys, our A is our T1, which is the first term. And from this sequence, we can see that the first term is 4, right? Do we have our D? Yes, we just calculated that our D, or our common difference, is 3. Therefore, we can now say our Tn is equals to, we're going to substitute in our A, we're going to say 4 plus n minus 1 all multiplied by D, and the D is 3. So guys, here, what we're going to do, you can always simplify it, you can leave it like this, but it's one and the same thing. But if we simplify it, we're going to have 4. This 3 is going to multiply everything in the brackets, right? We're going to start by multiply with the n, and then we're going to multiply with the negative 1. So we're going to have a plus 3 multiplied by n is 3n. And then we're going to also say plus 3 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 3. And if you simplify it further, you can see the 4 minus the 3, gonna get a 1. So you're gonna say 3n. Then it's gonna be 4 minus 3, which is plus 1. And this is your general term. Another typical question they might ask you is, what is the value of the 25th term of the sequence, right? So if they're asking you for the 25th term, right? 25th term, they're looking for T25 of this sequence, you're going to use your general term. So you're going to say T25 is equals to 3, and in your n, you see here we have it as Tn, we have T25. So in your n, you're going to substitute 25, and you're going to say plus 1. Then you're going to find your answer, which is 3 times 25 is 75, plus 1 is 76. So meaning the 25th term, it is 76. Last but not least, they might ask you, what is the term of 109? When they ask you what is the term of something, what they're really looking for, they're looking for this n, right? So I mean, they've given you your Tn, so they said to you your Tn is 109, and what is the n? Then now you're going to just say Tn equals to 3n plus 1, right? For your Tn, they've given it to us, and they said our Tn is 109. So you're going to have 109 here, which is equal to 3n plus 1. And from this, what you basically are doing is you are solving for n. And if we are solving for n, we're going to take numbers to the other side of the equation and variables to the other side. And you can already see that we need to take this one to the other side. And how do we do that? We're going to say 109 minus 1. What you do on the left, you must do on the right. You're going to have 3n plus 1 minus 1. This will cancel out. Then you are left with 3n in this side. And here we are going to have 108, which is equal to 3n. And then from this, what you're going to do is you're going to divide by 3. What you do on the left hand side, you do on the right hand side. Therefore, now you can have your n. Yes, you can now have your n, which is equals to 36. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can watch the next video for a exam type of question. Please guys, don't forget to subscribe and like, and also guys, comment on the things that you'd like to see in the next videos.